So let's get started on this chicken fried rice. First, I'm just going to give you a little overview of what I'm working with here. Back there, we have 2 eggs that I've beaten. Here is our chopped up chicken. And here is some white onion and about a tablespoon of minced garlic. Here I have some frozen peas and carrots. Here I have some fresh green onion. And back there are the oils and seasonings we're going to be using. Well, soy sauce and sesame oil and olive oil. So let's get started. Obviously, we're going to be using rice, but I have that in the fridge, and that is day-old rice. I find that it's best to make it the night before, leave it in the fridge all night, and take it out of the fridge right before you start cooking. I've even seen people cook with it sort of frozen, like they'll put it on a cookie sheet on parchment paper. I've never tried that. Maybe next time I will, but right now I have it in the fridge until we need it. So let's start cooking. So in my pan, I have just a little bit of olive oil that I've put in, and now I'm gonna add the egg, and we are just gonna scramble this, and I'm gonna turn my heat down. I want it kind of low. And some people don't add eggs to fried rice. I do. I always like it when the restaurants make it that way. So that's just how I've always made it. So we're gonna get this scrambled up. That's gonna be our first step. And in this step, I'm using the olive oil. We are gonna be using sesame oil at some point. If you've never used sesame oil, I love the flavor. A little bit goes a long, long way. I found that out the hard way the first time I made egg rolls. So if you're a fan of sesame oil, you know what I'm talking about. So we're gonna get these eggs scrambled up here, and once that is done, we're gonna get them over to a plate that I have here on the side. Okay, this is about how I like them. They're not as cooked as I would have them if I were having scrambled eggs, but they are cooked through. I'm gonna get them over to a plate, and then we're moving on to our next step. Okay, I've just kind of scraped out the pan, and I'm adding a little bit more oil. And now I'm gonna get my chicken in there. You can cut it however you like. I like when the chunks are a little bit bigger because I like when this is, you can obviously have this as a meal or a side dish, but I like more when it's kind of like the meal, and then maybe you have a side with it, like egg rolls or something, which we may make. We'll see if we have time today. So I just hit that chicken with a little bit of salt and pepper because we're gonna be adding soy sauce, and even though I'm using the reduced sodium, soy sauce is so salty, so I don't wanna use too much. So we're gonna make sure that this is fully cooked through before we take this out, because our next step after this is done is going to be to take this out and then go on from there. Now that this is almost cooked through, I'm going to add just a little bit of the sesame oil. I'm adding a little less than a tablespoon. A little bit really does go a long way, so I think a tablespoon is just enough for this amount of chicken. Now it's starting to get that color that I like, so now I'm going to turn off the heat, and I'm going to put it in my bowl, and we're going to go to our next step. I've taken out the chicken and set it to the side. I put in my onion and my garlic, and I've been stirring that around for about 2 minutes now, and it looks pretty done, so I'm adding in my peas and carrots. They're still a little bit frozen, but that's okay. We are just going to get them in there with the onion and the garlic, get everything mixed together so it gets the good flavors of the onion and garlic, and then we will go on to our next step. I've moved the peas, carrots, garlic, and onion over to the side. I'm putting in the rice now, and that's straight out of the refrigerator. The rice is still cold. We are going to mix this together, and I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. That's usually enough for me, but that's what I always start with. So I'm going to get this all mixed up and see how it looks. The 1/4 cup of soy sauce was plenty. Now I'm just going to add a little bit more of that sesame oil that we had added to the chicken earlier. I like the flavor throughout the rice also. but I'm only adding a little bit, probably less than a teaspoon. We're going to get this all mixed together so that flavor is all through the rice and the peas and carrots. Then it will be time to add our eggs and our chicken. Now that I have the sesame oil all mixed through the rice, I'm adding the egg back in and I'm just stirring it around until the egg is in a little bit smaller pieces, kind of like that. Now I'm just going to put my chicken back in. We're going to give that a good stir. It's been sitting for a while. It's not cold, but I'll probably turn my heat on after I get everything mixed in. So now that I have the chicken in there, I'm just going to add some green onions, mix that up, and just heat it through for a couple minutes and it's done. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed already, please do. I'd love to have you around. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.